Hello and welcome. This is Claudia Sky. And in this video today, I'm going to share my perspective on how to navigate the intensity of the solar flares and what they do, because we will be experiencing them for a while. And I believe it's quite important what we do with them, how we meet them, and how we let them change us. 7 or 8 years ago, I found myself in Peru for the first time with a group of wisdom keepers from a lineage that had been not broken for over 13,000 years. And the elder of that wisdom tradition, a Quiero with the name of Adolfo Tito Kuntur, today known as Tupac, he shared with us Westerners that in the times to come that they call the Pachacuri, this is what we in the time of the great overturning, it was most important for us to learn how to harmonize with the sun. And at the time, I didn't really understand the importance of his message, but I feel like I understand a little bit more today. So, our emotions are electromagnetic energy. They run through our body and give us information if we let them, if we feel them. And then when they're done, they're complete. The sun energy is also electromagnetic in nature, and the more intensity comes down to us through these solar flares into our field of consciousness, onto the earth, the more each of us individually is being affected by that electromagnetic energy. And it is amplifying our own electromagnetic energy, meaning our mental emotional experience. And so everything that we are feeling is now times 10, 100, who knows? It is intensified. And what that means is that everything is being illuminated that we have not felt or shifted and transformed from our experience. Everything we have suppressed, everything we haven't wanted to look at, everything we're denying, all the things that we stuff down and use coping mechanisms to deal with, instead of allowing them to transform us, to show us something that we can easily shift actually. Everything of that nature, all our shadows are being illuminated, and now we're actually feeling them. We might not have any mental information. We might not know what this is, but we feel really irritated. We feel really angry. We might even feel rageful, or we feel really sad. We feel really confused. We feel a number of emotions in quite an intensity. And in that way, we are forced to acknowledge there's something there. And of course, we can keep going on with the ways we've been dealing with them, or we can allow this process to show us something that needs to and wants to be revealed to us so that we can turn it into something positive. And if you've seen any of my other videos, a lot of them are about how we deal with triggers and trauma. So I invite you to find them and to see a process that you can use to transform your shadows into the light. But the message here is that what's happening, as painful as it might be, as disorienting and confusing as it might feel to us, it is a good thing. It's a good thing because we need to shift out of that lower vibrational state and free up these toxic energies that are bound inside of us, that are keeping us imprisoned into a smaller version of who we are. So these solar flares are helping us to rise above that, to see what's wanting to be seen, to feel what's wanting to be felt, and to transcend what's keeping us stuck, so that we understand and realize who we really are. Because each time we peel away a layer of that shadow, each time we allow ourselves to feel an emotion and not suppress it, each time that energy literally leaves our body, assisted by the energies of the sun at this point, each time we don't reject and resist this, we get to know ourselves more. Our light comes forward more. It's quite literal that the energy of the sun is illuminating us. It's illuminating the shadow. If we can transcend the shadow within a graceful process, we literally get to see who we are in a deeper and truer way. We get to find our purpose in that if we don't already have a relationship with it. We see our capacities, skill sets, ways in which we can operate that are very helpful, especially at this time where things are changing. And so, if we harmonize with the sun, and I'll share in a moment what I mean by that, we can utilize the gifts of this universe that are currently showering down on us and rise above the noise and the distraction and the chaos of this time, but find ourselves in a place that is actually quite peaceful and beautiful. And so, how do we deal with them? For me, what naturally started to happen as I asked myself certain questions, and I took these questions into my meditations and into time in nature and stillness and silence. Questions like, how do I live from my heart? How can I call all of myself back because I noticed how I lost a good portion of myself? How can I be here fully at this time and live in my purpose and feel that joy that I know is my birthright? How do I do this in a culture that seems to not demonstrate that much, that is not teaching the children how to be in that way? So I kept asking, I just kept asking the universe, life, whatever name you might want to give this force that knows everything, this field where all information is held. So I kept tuning into that field, into that source, just offering myself up as a conduit for information, for wisdom that would be helpful to me, to myself, and others. And answers would come. And so I found myself sun gazing. That was one of the first things I stumbled across by just doing it and later doing research, understanding what this means. So I would watch the sunrise and, if I could, the sunset at a time where it's safe, when the sun is low at the horizon and the intensity is quite low so it doesn't damage your retina. And what started to happen is that I would begin to see light and energy in myself and in my environment in a way I never had before, where I could see into these subtle realms that revealed other things, psychogeometries, and just a lot of information would come because my pituitary, my pineal gland was activated through the solar ray. All these different light frequencies, all these different codices of the, or codes of the light, and the codices that are held in them, the full rainbow and beyond, the light spectrum that we see with our eyes and the ones that we don't see, all of that was now actually coming into my eye and into my nervous system. And it created a change. It created a healing in my nervous system. I'm still practicing that. And with that, I began to see, as I was doing the somatic work of honoring my feelings when I would get triggered, if something came up, sitting with that and burning through them, these patterns that kept me stuck and hostage to my past. As I was doing that, I began to see as color light and as shapes in my body how these energies would actually release. And what happened? What happened is that I began to see my light body and my energy body in a way that I'd somehow heard about, but it was a surprise each and every time I would see a new aspect reveal itself because it would come online. So the work I was doing, the releasing of these shadows, of these old patterns, every single time I was doing that, every time I was in this process of just feeling, accepting, watching that energy unravel and leave, I would see how light would become available inside of me, how it would move through me, how energy would leave, and how another part of my energy and light body was sort of activated. And I began to see my sacred geometry, my personal shape as that light being. And many, many things would download during that time, just understandings, memories, other lifetimes would reveal themselves in a way where I didn't just remember being a certain person, but having understanding that they had, knowing something they knew, having a skill suddenly that I just remembered how to do that. And in that way, it integrated deeply into my being, into my body. So this is something that I believe very much came forward through my practice with the sun. I also started to expose my body to sunlight, especially the parts that don't usually get sunlight. So I would get all the frequencies that are natural into my energy centers, my chakras, and I could feel them often like vibrating literally and turning on and being amplified and helped. I also started meditating with my energy centers and just breathing into them and feeling them and giving them my awareness. And they would strengthen. And this was another aspect of working with light, because I could see the colors turning on stronger and brighter. I worked with water, and I know that's not directly related to the sun, but when you place your water into the sun, it catches the solar ray, it catches that energy, and then when you drink it, it's energized, and it's actually really, really powerful for you. And I would put minerals in my water, and that would strengthen or make that even stronger. I would just be in nature a lot and be around natural shapes and light and sounds, and all of that was, during different times of the day, where I was very in tune to the cycle of the sun and the moon. Every night I go outside and look at the starlight, and where I can see it, I can actually see the Milky Way if it's a clear sky. Or where I live it's clear enough at night that I can see our galaxy and the constellations quite well. And just being around this different light, the moonlight, really paying attention to the cycles and immersing myself in that light, a lot of things that were dormant turned on. That is true for all of us, I believe, when we come back to these very simple ways of engaging nature and being in the light, the sun, the moon, and the starlight. Our own light is being spoken to, and in that exchange, things do wake up. And so what this elder said, that at this time it was so crucial to harmonize with the sun, I realized recently I somehow, at least in part, am experiencing. Because as things are getting more intense, as I can see myself feeling more emotions than ever and being often in a pretty intensely felt experience of something, and seeing people around me, my clients and friends and family, like really be in it. At the same time, there is a deeper understanding and a deeper strength within me that helps me be with this without losing myself, without getting lost in a story, without getting lost in victimhood, without getting lost in any kind of blame or self-shame. At least when it happens, I catch it very quickly. And this simply comes from taking on these practices as a lifestyle, especially the somatic work, where I just honor that I have a feeling. Even though it might not feel good, I just feel it and release it. And in that way, my electromagnetic energy body is clearer, it's more open, it's stronger, it's more healthy, it's balanced. And when these electromagnetic waves of these solar flares hit the earth and affect me, it no longer creates this massive disruption it used to. And so in this way, I feel more in harmony. And I know this is a process that I'll be in for a while, and I'm committed to that. And I'm sharing this here because it's something we can all do. This is not going to go away. It's only going to get stronger. And we're going to see things outside of us and people really be challenged in this. And we can support ourselves in this challenge and use it for what it is for, which is our awakening process. Awakening to the truth of our being, awakening to the beautiful qualities that we have and that we are as divine beings here on earth at this time. We can use these energies to remember who we are and to step into our power, until maybe one day we realize that heaven on earth is not a concept, but it's a reality that is already here and that perhaps has always been here. I would really love to hear what you find helps you at this time. What practices can you share that help all of us navigate this time, as we really ask to share and to come together and to be vulnerable and to be authentic and to be community again, to trust one another, to trust ourselves. And in this way, I believe we can move through what's coming and what's here in a much more graceful way together. Thank you for watching.